Mass UFO encounters in the 16th and 17th century with newspaper reports and photos. Here we are getting actual records of UFO visitation. The question is, what happened in the Stralsund incident? Hey guys, welcome to my channel Amartya's World. If you like my video, then click on like button, subscribe the channel. So let's begin. Mystery of UFO Battle 1665. There has been many UFO cases that happened long before the modern UFO era of the 1940s onwards. Some events like Roswell and Rendlesham are famous, but other cases are hidden beneath the sand of time. However, one particular sighting from 1665 in Stralsund in Germany stands out different. This account was written about by other writers and researchers of that time, and this news has appeared in presses. What's more interesting is that the Stralsund UFO case was one among others almost identical mass UFO sighting around Europe roughly at the same time. This suggests that the incident was perhaps one well-documented incident of UFO sighting on the witness as well as newspaper and media community. There has been several incidents like that events of the afternoon in 1665, especially mentioning battles in the sky, roughly in the 16th and 17th century. Why were there mass UFO sighting in Europe during 16th or 17th century? What was that UFO battle? The Stralsund incident comes to modern UFO community and the Western world from Brand von Ludwig's 1998 book entitled Best UFO Cases Europe, April 8, 1665. The incident took place on the afternoon of about 2 p.m. when a group of fishermen anchored near Baroft witnessed what they described as ship in the battle engaging in the sky war. News editor and author Erasmus Francisci in his newspaper there Yonder Rake Engebers answered Nederwelt order at Leipzig in 1689 wrote about Stralsund incident. He wrote, and I quote, "After a while out of the sky came a flat, round form like a plate, looking like the big head of a man. Its color was that of the darkening moon, and it hovered right over the church of St. Nikolai. Then it remained stationary until the evening. The fishermen, worried to death, didn't want to look further at the spectacle and buried their faces in their hands. On the following days, they fell sick with trembling all over, pain in head and limbs. Many scholarly people thought a lot about that." He wrote all these events in his newspaper. The author described the UFOs as flat, round shape, appearing like plate or large hat, and if we look at the shape of modern UFO sighting, they also have similar disc-like appearance. The color is alluded as the darkling moon or the eclipse-like moon, which is black or silver in color, and it is further said that it hovered over the church of St. Nikolai. In modern day, UFO sighting is seen over religious places of Jerusalem in 2011. The above video is seen, and that UFO hovered and remained motionless. So could it be that UFO was observing mankind atop of St. Nikolai Church? A theory known as ancient astronaut theory suggests that ghosts are aliens and temples are places to contact with gods or extraterrestrials. What's interesting to me was an amateur ufologist is that Francisci Report further says that the people who witnessed the object soon became ill and suffered from trembling pain in the head and limbs. The entire incident was later deemed unexplained, and the causes of the pain symptom was never found. What's interesting to me as an amateur ufologist is its parallel with modern UFO sighting, and I talked about UFOs at that time when no one knew about flying devices. Many people saw that UFO with newspaper releases and make this story true, and it was told by people of 17th century. Say they won't tell lie to get hype because they didn't have pop culture like Star Wars. And that effects of UFO sightings on humans, as written by newspaper author Erasmus Francisci, is very similar to recent files released by United States Department of Defense. 350 years later, on April 5th, year 2022, more than 1500 pages of UFO and biological effects related information by Advanced Aerospace Threat Identity Program are made public, which have detailed accounts of human abductees and UFOs in a file entitled Anomalous Acute and Subacute Field Effects on Human and Biological Disease. I made a video on this, you can check it, link in the below. So could the 1689 report of Erasmus Francisci and the 2022 report of anomalous acute and subacute field effects on human and biological tissue by United States Department of Defense actually official records of UFO and its biological effects on humans? I think the proof says yes. Researchers believe that we may get further evidence by looking at that event of Stralsund and its analysis with modern cases and a historical angle. The fishermen near the Baltic city of Stralsund, what is today's Mecklenburg, Western Rhone, and that belonged to Sweden but now located in Germany, saw a battle between ships in the sky and a flying hat or plate. Medical and military men interviewed the witness who later became ill with mysterious illness. The symptoms of illness was like it came all out of sudden. The particular part of the story is UFO encounter and mysterious illness. Department of Defense report and another modern UFO sighting. Early June 21st, 1947. Men in a boat near Maury Island, Washington, claimed that a hovering disc dropped like residue into the sea and injured one man and killed one dog. However, the critics call the Maury Island UFO case or hoax. But the crash that killed the two American Air Force intelligence officers that were sent to investigate Maury Island was entirely real, and they associate UFO with death for the first time in modern times. Over next decade, cases of mysterious illness like hair loss, burns, nausea, and UFOs become numerous. Some well-known reported cases of UFO and biological encounter include 1950s and Ford Itaipu case in Brazil and 1980 December case of Crash-Landrum in Texas in USA. According to the story, fishermen saw ships battling in the sky with smoke and fire as a mysterious man wearing black or brown clothes appeared abroad one last vessel. So the battle in the sky with fire smoke is enough to prove the account of detail that the eyewitness put into. But where are the other evidences? Researchers believe that we might get more information by closely studying Francisci Report and other editors' report. The Stralsund incident was first recorded in Leipzig in 1665. I have given the German name with its English translation. The Stralsund incident was again retold in 1671 by Johannes Severus, living between 1622 to 1679, in his book Memorabilium Gentis Exemplarium. The page 15 of that book tells about Stralsund UFO sighting. And I have written this and with this German translation. Go over to the other boat and to see the great battle from whence the great fire and smoke arose. Shortly afterward, two other ships would arrive, one from the east and the other from the west, but with smaller and fewer sails. Through the explosion of the engines, cut off all the sight. Thus both ships standing one in the north and the other and the color like that of the moon. Then this UFO incident was a source for the German polymath Erasmus Francisci aka Erasmus Sphinx, living between 1627 and 1694. April 10, 1665, Berliner Ordinary in his newspaper wrote, one of the fishermen has seek all his fame. All of the citizens who have observed this are reliable. Yesterday, Henry Colonel wondered and German interrogate two out of 6 fishermen. May God change their miracle for the best. Francisci wrote that scholars had wondered about a physical element without reaching any. Johannes Severus in 1671 in his book Memorabilium Gentis wrote that it cannot be just a rumor. A leaflet entitled N. Ebgler Bessenberg warned them under the Stralsund lived in the 1665. It reads a little while later, out of the middle of the sky appeared to them a round platform like a plate and like a big man's hat, with colors like the moon when eclipsed. It seemed to stand directly above St. Nikolai Church and stayed there until the evening, after which the sailors, now full of fear, adrift, could no longer watch nor wait for the end of this terrible and suspicious spectacle. They retreated to their huts, where in the following days they found their hands and feet and the heads and all other body parts burdened by great sinking. A detail of the 1665 engraving, including the relevant section of text, is shown above, where we see that N that identifies the circle shape above the church of St. Nikolai. Franciscus' bloody image shows the scene of view from southwest, perhaps from Maury Island. Barovnice, a coastal village more than 8 miles away from St. Nikolai Church. The engravings show that the object over the church a little lower than the sun and about 8 times over the horizon. A church about 100-meter height at a distance of less than 8 miles, that is 13 kilometers, would have an angular height of about 0.5 degree 50. The angular height of sun would be over 40. And all this calculation, description of maps, reports by newspaper editors make the Stralsund incident remarkably accurate. At the middle of 16th and 17th century, Francisca believed that UFO sightings were a vision of upcoming war. Interestingly, after a decade and a half, the war and conflict between Prussian and Swedish began. If we turn the records of UFO sightings, then we will see UFO sightings increased around the wartime. It happened during the World War I, it happened in World War II, and it happened in Cold War, and it is again happening in the recent time. So could the Battle of Prussian and Swedish near the Stralsund in the 16th century another proof that Stralsund UFO case was real? I think only way to find about this event is not only by checking the Stralsund incident, but also similar incident that happened centuries ago, roughly at the same location, and the modern analysis that has been done in the 2015. So what was the report of the 2015 analysis, and what was the another event that was entirely parallel to the Stralsund incident? I think that if we look into this matter and investigate about this in more detail, we will very soon get the answers. So with this, I think the video is really long, so we will discuss about the parallel incident of Stralsund plus the 2015 analysis in the next video or the part 2 of this video. So till then, take care and bye, and don't forget to see other videos, and all the links of the evidences and proofs are given in the description, so look there. So bye and take care. Thank you.